So you want a bigger chest. A lot of people, when they're working out, they have this great idea of how they're going to get a bigger chest, but most of it is wrong. So I'm here to show you exactly what you need to do to get a bigger chest. Now, before I get into it, I just want to make sure that you understand that I'm going to go over a lot of key points. And I also have something special at the end. So make sure you watch the video to the end so you don't miss out on that special. Now, when it comes to having a bigger chest, the things we want to remember about when it comes to developing muscle is that you want the most amount of stretch and the most amount of contraction. So with that theory in mind, I want you to make sure that you remember that when I go over these points. Stretch, contraction, okay? So with that said, the best way to get a bigger chest is full range of motion. So for a long time, I was doing a lot of different things when it comes to developing my chest, and I realized that it was hindering my progress. For example, a lot of people, when they think bigger chest, their first thought is the bench press. Now, the bench press itself is not theoretically bad, but it limits range of motion. And I'm going to show you right here, when it comes to range of motion, you'll see what I'm talking about. As you notice, when you're coming down on a bar limits how much your chest can stretch and expand. So with that said, we can't get a full stretch. You got some stretch there, but if you really want to get a bigger chest, you really want to be able to expand that chest. A good alternative is using dumbbells, because now you don't have the bar limiting yourself. You can fully expand that chest and get it all the way stretched. Now, there's another part of that movement we need to remember. So when you're coming up, that's where the contraction is going to take place. So when you're using a bench press, let's say when it comes to the bar, and you pull it all the way forward, that's as much contraction that you're going to get. Now, I'm going to show you a little experiment here. Now, I want you to do this at home. So I want you to take your arms, all right, and I fully want you to stretch them out, and I want you to squeeze your chest as much as possible. Now, on the next move, I want you to do it this way. When you come, I want you to cross your arms and then squeeze as much as possible. Now, how did that feel to you? You should have felt a bigger contraction when you cross your arms. That's what's going to limit a bench press with a typical barbell, is that you won't be able to fully squeeze that chest. Now that's where resistance bands come into place. Now, this is what I learned when I'm using resistance bands, is that you're gonna be able to get that full stretch like we could with the dumbbells, but we can also come up and cross. Now, a lot of dumbbells, especially if you're lifting heavy, is gonna really prevent you from crossing those arms. So if you really wanna develop a bigger chest, I highly recommend using resistance bands. If you don't have access to resistance bands and you're working out at the gym, those cable machines are going to be your best friend. So you can use either or, but if you really want to start right now, you want to go ahead and get some resistance bands, because you can see you can do this at home. Now, when it comes to resistance bands, another great thing about resistance bands is that it's going to give you tension all the way through, and it actually gets tougher when you reach the contraction. So when it comes to using other certain things, when it comes to like a barbell or when it comes to the dumbbells, that strength curve kind of remains the same throughout the movement. But with resistance bands, as you're coming in and you're crossing that contraction, the strength curve gets tougher and tougher and tougher until you reach the peak of that contraction. That's really going to help you develop muscle by tearing more muscle fibers, because tearing those muscle fibers and having them recover is really going to give you a bigger chest. Another thing that when it comes to developing your chest muscles, if you see, they're going to have a lot of different points. 3 main points. You're going to have a middle portion, you're going to have a lower portion, and you're going to have an upper portion. And a lot of people, when it comes to working out the upper portion of their chest, they first think incline bench. And the incline bench itself is a really good tool, but here's the problem with it when it goes to most gyms and when you're lifting weights. A lot of them, when you go to the gym, are stationary. They're not being able to move or anything like that. Now, when it comes to certain ones, they do have ones that go up and down, but you're a little bit more limited to what it is right there. And so when I say it's stationary, the thing is that theoretically that would work, but there is no biological fairness. Some people are going to be taller than others. Some people are going to be shorter than others. Some people's muscle placement of their genetics is going to be different than others. So when it comes to resistance bands, the great thing about it is that when you're using it with a door stopper, you can move the door stopper up and down to get it to the point where you really feel that contraction right there at the muscles. And feeling the contraction in the muscle, what we call mind-muscle connection, is the key. It's not about lifting as heavy as possible. It's not about putting up the most weight. It's not even about putting up the most tension when it comes to the bands. It's about feeling the contraction, the entire movement, okay? No momentum, no rocking. You're not shrugging up your shoulders where you're using more shoulder than your chest. You're keeping those traps down and you're pushing through. That's the real key when it comes to developing your chest. Now, with all that said, one of the major things is that, and I think people do know this one here, is that you're really gonna need good resistance. Now, the chest muscle itself is a very large one. So normally you're gonna use heavier bands than you normally would with good resistance. The ones that I found that are great are Toro bands. Those are some of the best bands that I found out there on the market that really gives you good tension. They have 80-pound resistance bands. And just because it says 80 on there doesn't mean that's what you're getting, because as I said before, is that contraction is getting tougher as you're going through. So that's actually going up when it comes to more than 80 pounds. And the good news is that I have a promotion going on right now. If you're watching this video, if you click the link in the description, you'll be able to get a great deal on it. I did a whole video about it as far as reviewing the bands. If you're on the fence when it comes to it, just go ahead and check out that video, and that way you can make a clear decision if those bands are gonna work best for you. Now, this is a point that took me, I would say, over 6 years to figure out. And I wanna make sure that you understand this. Form is everything, okay? I'm gonna say that again. Form is everything. You wanna make sure to really develop your chest that you're using great form. I have a lot of videos that's gonna show you technique when it comes to developing your chest. But the things that you wanna remember is that you wanna make sure that you keep your chest forward in most exercises, and you're only using your chest when it comes to using the resistance bands. Now, that's the biggest thing I see when I go to a gym. There's a bunch of people out there who are out of shape, who can lift 3-4 plates, but they're really not using their chest. So you don't really see chest development. If you're a powerlifter and that's what you're going for, and you're not worrying about form, you're worried about getting numbers, that's okay, okay? I'm not judging the way that you work out. But if you're a person who wants to have nice definition, you want to have good cuts, you want that chest to pop when you're taking off your shirt and you're going to the beach, I'm telling you, form is going to be how you get there. Form is going to be everything. Stop worrying about the numbers, okay? Stop worrying about how much you bench. You know that a lot of people, they'll see me out in the street and they'll see that I have a pretty nice, big chest. I'm kind of a big guy. And they ask me, dang man, how much do you bench? You know what my answer is? I don't even know. You know why? Because I use resistance bands to develop my chest. A lot of people think that I'm bench pressing all day. That's not really what's happening. I'm making sure that I have great form. My body is stable. I'm squeezing only my chest muscles. And a lot of people don't realize that I actually lift a little bit lighter than I normally do. If I want to show off or something, if I'm doing something for a photo or anything like that, yeah, I can lift those plates, those 3 plates and all that there, but that's not really my goal. My goal is really to develop a nice body like a work of art. And if that's your goal too, you really want to focus on your form. Stop worrying about the numbers. Stop worrying about how much I can bench compared to the other guy. Who are you trying to impress? Don't worry about that. Make sure you have good form if you're serious about developing your chest. All right, so if you watched the video this far, then you're here for the special thing that I had for you at the end. Now, before I get into that, make sure you check out the video for the chest workout so you can understand exactly what to do with resistance bands. Okay, let's get into it. All right, so I did a review video when it came to the Toro bands. These are the bands I highly recommend. And if you're developing your chest on your arms or anything, these are heavy duty bands, and these are some of the best bands that I've ever tried. So with that said, I'm giving away a set of bands. All right, I'm giving away these Toro bands. So when is the giveaway? It's the number one question, okay? So the giveaway is August 17th at 9 p.m. There are gonna be some things that you're gonna have to do to make sure you can enter in the giveaway. That is in the Toro Bands review video. So you must watch that video to know what to do to get the giveaway, okay? I have everything listed step by step so you can win these bands. These are really good quality bands, and I'm telling you, you're gonna love these bands. So make sure you check out that video. And then also on August 17th at 9 p.m., I'm gonna do the giveaway live on Instagram, okay? So follow me at Discipline Dave. I'm gonna do the giveaway live on Instagram. All right, good luck to y'all out there. Thank you for watching. I'm Discipline Dave, where I put the technique in your physique. Now go ahead and work out on that chest video. Work it out.